Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 8080 Mind. Hope everybody's having a good week. Hope your spring is off to a good start. So, today, I thought we could talk about and do a practice on uncertainty. So, this idea, this theme of uncertainty is a pretty big deal right now with all that's happening in the world. COVID-19 has certainly created extreme experiences for many of us of uncertainty. But what I think is really interesting about uncertainty from the 80-80 perspective is that in our life and in our marriage, when we're handling uncertainty well, we're able to navigate it. It doesn't show up in sort of weird, funky ways in our relationship. But when we stop being skillful with uncertainty, all of a sudden, all sorts of weird things can show up in relationships. So you might feel frustrated, you might feel irritated more, you might feel scared, and all of that has a way of showing up in relationships. So the basic idea behind the practice today is to give you some mindfulness tools for how we navigate uncertainty more skillfully. And the basic headline here is that uncertainty is mostly a byproduct of the mind and our time traveling of the mind, where we're thinking about future and thinking about past. And if we're able to come into this moment, that ends up being the ultimate antidote to fear and worry and uncertainty, right? So in other words, present moment, this is like the home base that allows us to more effectively deal with uncertainty. And that sounds really good as an idea, but I think today what we're going to do is experience it as a practice. So let's start as we always do, spine straight, finding a comfortable seat. I'm going to close my eyes. I would recommend that. But if you want to leave your eyes open with a soft gaze, that's fine as well. Before any practice, I always like to just take a moment to experience some gratitude for this time. This practice will be about 10 minutes or so I'll watch the time for you. But just savor the fact that for right now, there's nothing you have to do. I've been calling this a mind vacation. Mindfulness as a mind vacation. You now have a 10-minute vacation from your day. That itself is often just a relief. So then, always worth paying attention to your breath. As we've talked about, breath is the most powerful anchor to the present moment. So just notice what's happening with your breath right now. It can be helpful to notice the sensations of breathing at the nose and the nostrils. And we're not trying to change the breath, we're just noticing sensation. So now we're going to start by bringing attention into uncertainty, and then in the second part of the practice, we're going to use the present moment as a way to establish an anchor, a home base that makes us more effective when we're experiencing uncertainty. So as you think about your day or your week and the events that are coming up, The invitation here is to identify something that makes you feel some sort of mild anxiety around uncertainty. This could be something at work, something at home, could be a parenting issue, could be an issue in your marriage, perhaps a conversation you need to have that you haven't had. This could be some sort of larger macro global affairs issue. You feel uncertain how it's going to work out. But just identify for you one area where you feel a sense of uncertainty. For me, we're doing a big event tomorrow night. Lots of people. There's just a little bit of uncertainty. How is this all going to work? What is it for you? And now as you bring your attention to this source of uncertainty, just notice what that uncertainty feels like, what arises in the mind and the body. What's the whole wave of thoughts and emotions that accompany this feeling of uncertainty? So one way to do this is to just notice, starting with the mind, are there any thoughts that are cycling? Then moving to your body, are there any areas of tension that come up? Are there any sensations? Where are they? Are there any emotions? And one thing you can try to do that's kind of fun is to see if you can find the uncertainty, whether that's in your mind or your body. Is it possible to find it, to capture it with your attention? And for most of us, the experiential answer is no. That there's nothing there. It's this constellation of thoughts and sensations and areas of tension, but there's no thing that is uncertainty. So now let's shift our attention from this source of uncertainty and its various manifestations in the mind and the body to the present moment. And there are all sorts of ways you can do this. We talked about the breath a moment ago. You can bring your attention to the sensations of each breath at the nose. That is one amazing way to experience the present moment. But sounds are another amazing anchor. So it could be the sound of my voice, the sound of the ventilation in the room that you're in, the lawnmower a block away, the birds. It could be sensations in your body, which are also always happening now. Just choose one of those. And see if you can bring your full attention into that anchor to the present moment. Now, if you're human, your attention will get hijacked by the mind from time to time. It might go back to that source of uncertainty or just random thoughts, and that's totally fine. The instruction there is just to notice that and gently bring your attention back to the present moment. And what you may begin to notice is that all of those thoughts and images in your mind that create uncertainty aren't actually real. Like a daydream. That itself begins to dissolve some of the worry and fear around uncertainty. So if you notice yourself getting caught in thoughts, just notice those thoughts. Notice how slippery they are, how ephemeral they are, how fleeting they are. And then when you come back to the breath, sounds, or sensation, notice that there's something more stable to this moment, more real. And so it turns out that the breath, the sound, the sensation, that is like the ultimate reality check. If it's happening right now, it's real. If it's a picture in the mind about some future, it's a dream. It's an illusion. So take just another few breaths to enjoy this reality of the present moment. Henry David Thoreau, the philosopher, calls it the solid bottom of reality. And then before we come back, just notice if anything has shifted in your experience, if anything's different. Having anchored ourselves in this moment. And then when you're ready, you can slowly begin to open your eyes, come back into the room. And the invitation for the rest of the day is, can you, when you find yourself getting caught in those loops of thought, that create uncertainty, bring yourself back to this thing that's more real. Present moment. Thanks, everybody. See you next week.